Jesus, come on. This is recording. Yes. Alright. Hi, my name's Julie. Some people know me as Dolphin. Or as Dolphin Julia Trahan. Or Julia Dolphin Trahan. And I wrote this book for my mom. I wrote it in 2 days. And I call the style of writing freeform writing, and it's called Read, R-E-A-D, Read Out Loud. Okay. All right. And all right. Here's my note for my mom. Quickly, I have to actually read it quickly. All right. And see, it's go. And alright, dear Mom, here's a book I wrote for you. Christmas present this year, 2017. I decided I best read it in a single sitting. I wrote it in 2 sittings. Without thinking about it much, as I am likely to be distracted and not finish it. So I hope you enjoy it. Love, your youngest daughter, Julie Dolphin. And that was Friday, October, Thursday, well, it was October 13th, and it's taken me a while to get to, anyway. Alright, here it is. I'm not done with the illustrations on it. It's called Reading Out Loud, a novel written by Dolphin Julia Trahan, and it's intended to be read out loud. Okay. And alright, and see the first page is kind of, it explains a little bit about it, alright, you got the first page. Okay. Long ago, way in the past, which is really the future, as everybody knows, there is a girl named Christopher Robin, and she, like many children of the present, was born with a sideways heart. Now, this was way back when every individual was a personal letter to the entire world, and people could say all their thoughts simply from how they looked, and every individual letter had a meaning. And yeah. Okay. So this girl with a sideways heart and a longish name, Christopher Robin, in case you forgot, already has a lot of individual meaning in her life, and her parents gave the meaning and purpose when they gave her such a long name for a girl. Christopher Robin didn't know she had a sideways heart when she was born, and she was just like every other girl growing up with a boy's name, because she had a dog, and she went on all sorts of walk-around adventures with her dog, including some places her parents told her never to go, and she did this disobedience not because she wanted to be caught doing something she knew is wrong, as she really doesn't like to tell lies at all. She went to the riverside, and it wasn't really a riverside. She just named it Riverside because grown-ups said Riverside about waterways. She went there because she named her dog Sartre after a French philosopher, because Christopher Robin's dog is very smart and likes to go places such as riversides, or places that seem like riversides if you are a girl with a sideways heart and don't know about it, because you occasionally do what your parents say, don't do this. In fact, it is a while Christopher Robin is down near the riverside with her dog Sart that she notices all the moving water never stays still, not even for a moment, and she begins to wonder if water is really alive. And I think I skipped a page, hold on. Blah, blah, blah. In the same way, languages where every separate letter is part of an alphabet, as in the soup, and the way it is easy to get around Manhattan in New York City. Christopher Robin wanted to ask water if water is alive, so she asked, "Why do you have so many rings, water? And why do you make indistinct splashing sounds? As I can't quite understand what you are trying to say." And I asked my dog Sart what water mumbles. However, what water mumbles mean. However, Christopher, my writing's hard to read. However, Christopher Robin's dog Sart is also a girl with a male name, in case you did not guess. And Sart never says anything at all except bark and woof, and a few variations. So what's it that you are mumbling about water? And the water didn't seem to answer in any way. So after a while, Christopher Robin became impatient and skipped a rock on the riverside's watery surface and said, "Water, I can see you have many rings, and I am sorry if I hurt your feelings, However, I really want to understand if you are alive, as language is alive. And when I splash and drops of you fly all over, does it hurt?" And water did not answer. So both Christopher Robin and Sart her dog sat and watched and waited. And then Christopher Robin, keeping her bark perfectly straight, walked directly into the water and called to Sart, her dog, to wade. And she said since water would not talk to her, she would bring back a book and read out loud, until water replied the very same day, which is actually tomorrow, and as well as yesterday. If you understand these time-limited situations well, Christopher Robin didn't bring a book with her to visit the riverside and converse with water, because it became too complicated, with Sart, her dog, suggesting she read water a story about existentialism that would require a very long time and possibly never get directly to what happened to water's emotions when people waded into water. The point of this story isn't what water said, or even what water did when Christopher Robin and her extremely smart dog Sart read out loud hour after hour after hour about something as hydrogen and oxygen, and what happens when they meet, and how are they dressed. And does hydrogen ever talk to oxygen about knock-knock jokes, such as, "Hydrogen, knock-knock, oxygen, who is there?" hydrogen, red oxygen, red who, hydrogen, red sea, because then oxygen might laugh and reply, Red Sea, I used to be there. Surprisingly, it starts Christopher Robin's dog, who found the way to converse with water. She walked from the riverside and waded all the way into the middle of the stream, which is barely a stream, and definitely not a river, and Sart began to howl. She howled and she barked, and Christopher Robin followed Sart's example and began to bark and howl, and got her feet wet, and both Christopher Robin and Sart started to pretend they are reading books about the proper way to bark when you don't want to say or do anything that might make water cry. Because if water cries and water began in the Red Sea, then her tears would break away and be little tiny dots of pink, and would stain Christopher Robin's clothes whenever she wore light-colored shirts. Because if water cried, Christopher Robin wouldn't mind comforting her, because when it rains, water cries on lots of shoulders anyway. As for Christopher Robin could decipher, water is not hurt when Sart's paws were submerged and then went on shore after lots of barking and howling, and dries off on the shore of the riverside. So Christopher Robin asked, how do you separate water without being hurt? And water didn't answer in any way Christopher Robin could understand. So she, Christopher Robin, decided to swim over her head and see if that made any difference. She and her dog Sart had to walk a very, very long way before they found a place where the water could be deeper than Christopher Robin's head. So when she found a place that was up to her knees, when she walked in the midstream, while Sart, her dog, sauntered on shore, Christopher Robin fell backwards with a huge splash and spread her arms, and facing the bright blue sky with gray and white clouds, Christopher Robin dunked her head all the way underwater as she held her breath while blowing bubbles from her nose, which is not easy to do, and she was very, very relieved that no one was watching except her dog. Sart, who was waiting for her on shore, Christopher Robin shut her eyes and heard almost as clear as if someone was talking directly to her. I am like ideas rather than rock. However, I am friends with rock and stone and dirt and sand and fire, and it's a legible word. Ice, maybe, I don't know. All are friends with air and electricity and motion, and when we all talk to each other, we are more like Gertrude Stein than Sart, because we create a table and cafe to sit and talk at in all different languages. And Christopher Robin sat up, so her head was above the water, and her legs were underwater, and she looked sort of like this.